YouTube? What is up, DDD fam? It's me, your boy, Brennan, aka Drip, back with another deck profile and one of the most anticipated deck profiles that a lot of the subscribers and Discord fam have been looking forward to and asking about when I was going to post it. Well, you know, here it is, and it's all of its glory and beauty. My creation that I created of what my idea is of the most purest form of Blueeyes and what it was made to do in its like original stuff. If you did not see the last profile, let me give you the rundown of this deck. I took everything that I knew about Blueeyes and what it wanted to do originally, which was Synchro summon and Fusion summon mainly, but yes. And I took that and just built on it and found cards that help utilize the ability to do that in its most generic form. And if you don't know, I am a Blueeyes fanatic. I love Blueeyes. I have my entire life. It's my #1 deck and always will be. So it literally took me a year to come up with a profile that I felt was the most competitive Blueeyes deck that was out there. I do not like to link with this deck that much because I played the Dragon Link variant. I have the Dragon Link variant on my channel. I liked it because I was able to use this card in the deck. Not really use it, but it was in there. So, but then I was like, you know what, man? Konami hasn't really given us much pure Blueeyes support, really, that we can really use, rather, sorry. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to hit the books and work on a list and come up with a list. I'm in love with Blueeyes. I'm in love with Dogmatika. They're spellcasters. Like, Invoked Blueeyes, I've played a lot back in the day when it was really big. So I was like, you know what, I want to try to make an Invoked Blueeyes list. And I did, and I didn't like the deck where you just make Macabre send Ancient special summon Blueeyes. I was like, no, I need to make this more combo heavy. I need a better inboard than that. People can easily out that. So I was like, I took that, and then right around the time I was working on this deck for about 6 months, it was around 6 months, I think, about 4 to 6 months when I was working around the span of time I was just messing with this deck and trying to come up with a list. Dogmatika came out, and I'm in love. I fell in love with that archetype. Outside of just the Blueeyes cards and stuff itself, I just fell in love with the archetype and went with there, which is what helped give me the idea of spellcasters, because I was like, you know what, the little Sage and Ancients and all that. I mean, not Ancients, but Sage and Master and all of them. They're spellcasters. I was like, huh. And then I remembered the old school cards that has some synergy with dragons and spellcasters. So I started tinkering with the deck, because then around that time too is when Invoked Dogmatika became a deck. So I was like, huh, interesting. What if I took all the hand traps out that they filled that deck with and put some Blueeyes cards in? Then that's when came the pre-stages of the deck, and then which ended up morphing into the list that I posted previously, and then that list morphed into this. What you see before you. What you see before you, in my personal opinion, is my mastered form of this deck. Its final form. Pun intended. Dragon Ball Z pun. This is this deck's final form. I think this is the best that this deck can get. I think it is the most competitive form of the deck. Granted, all of you will have your own opinions, but this is the list that I'll be playing competitive. And I would not shy from taking to an event if events opened up. I love this list. I worked really hard on this list. I've worked over a year and several months perfecting this list, because I just wanted to make Blueeyes as best as I can. But again, sorry about the rambling. If you made it this far, then you're just an OG to hear the backstory and everything on the deck. Started out, sneak peek. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit. Get that. Started out, obviously, we got 3 Blueeyes, White Dragon. Obviously, you need 3. 2 alternative. You don't need 3. One's not really enough. You can get by with 1 because you can side 1 out, but mainly you need 2. It's the perfect ratio. Then we run 1 Abyss Dragon for the combo. This card is ridiculous. I'm still mad at myself. If you see my previous list, I talked about how I was mad at myself then about when this card was announced, that I said this card was terrible. Because you also have to bear in mind that this card was also announced around the same time that my other half, as in Galaxy Eyes, my other love and passion, got Afterglow announced. And Afterglow felt like it was a more superior card for its archetype than this was for this archetype, until I made this list. Now they're on equal playing fields, because this fuels so much for this deck. It is unreal. This card is nuts. This is it for the big dragons. You don't need Spirit and all that. It's not necessary right now. But start out with the little Blueeyes cards. The best normal summon for them is obviously Sage. Sage is Sage. You already know what it does. And then the tuner lineup, like I said, if you haven't seen my previous list, my tuner lineup is different than what you call standard. But again, it's what works for me, and it is what you need for this list. It is the perfect tuner lineup for this list. I'll say it again. It is the perfect tuner lineup for this list. So, and that is 1 Ancients, 1 Legend, 1 Maiden, and 1 Master. Why? I'll go into details. 1, Sage is your best normal summon. 2, Sage is the best way to tutor out Blueeyes. That's the number 1 thing you want to do, is tutor out Blueeyes so you can Synchro and Link and all that. Synchro summon. Ancients, you only need 1. You're only going to resolve it probably once. It's special summon effect. And why do you not need more than 1? I'll get to that later in the list. Legend, you only need 1 Legend because you need a different tuner sometimes, and on top of that, you need to refill your hand with vanillas to get another vanilla in hand to be able to make Blueeyes Ultimate Alternative White Dragon, which we can easily turbo out by turn 2 with the combo. And then Maiden is just good at turboing out Blueeyes 2, which you'll see with other cards that we run. It's not just a defensive card like it used to. And then Master is just really good because it helps us play in the grind game. On top of that, it also shuffles back for cost, so it dodges Call by the Grave and stuff like that. And then that's it for the little tuners or whatever. Then we got Effect Baler, obviously. The best hand trap for this deck because it's searchable. Any deck that can search a hand trap and utilize that is just amazing. So 3 Baler, which we'll get to more about talking about Baler here in a bit. And then for the Dogmatika lineup, we got Ecclesia, Fleur-de-Lis with her armor, and then Fleur-de-Lis without her armor. I know it's not a Dogmatika card, but this is the new addition to the deck. Shout outs to, oh God, I can't remember your name, and you're going to butcher me for it. I'm sorry. In the Discord, I'm gonna look it up right now. I'm gonna look your name up right now in the Discord. It's gonna make me mad the fact that I forgot your Discord name, because I want to give you a shout out for guessing this card on my list. So let me see. Yes, Mr. American, just American in the list. You in the Discord rather. You guessed this card about with it being in the list before I even said anything. So shout outs to you, man, for just staying on your toes, and because you said it just makes sense, which it does, and it works out. Why? 1, it's a spellcaster. 2, it's a level 8. 3, we run Baler and other means of negating stuff, as in Fleur-de-Lis and your Baler. So it helps you sync, it helps you plus, and it's overall just a really good card in this deck. You do not need 2, I don't think. I tried to, and it got kind of bricky. This deck is not as consistent as other decks that can utilize that too. But right now, this is the perfect lineup, And shout outs again to you for realizing that I was going to put this card in here. Sorry that I forgot your name, my man. But that's it for those lineups. Moving on to the rest of the cards. Obviously, it wouldn't be an Invoked deck without 3 Alistar Boy. And some of y'all are about to scratch your heads, because guess what? Outside of Invocation, this is it. I'm not running Meltdown. Why? Meltdown gets in the way. And yes, you like Drip, but why? You're fusion summoning with this deck. Yes, you do, but this deck doesn't crutch on Alistar like other decks do. This deck utilizes Alistar as a utility card, also as in bait card too. It baits and it's a utility card, because I wanted the Blueeyes engine and the Invoked engine to gel perfectly. Not one be more superior than other. There is certain times with this deck, the Blueeyes engine carries the Invoked engine, so the Invoked engine can get back up on its feet. And sometimes the Invoked engine carries the Blueeyes engine, so it can get back up on its feet. There's a perfect balance in this deck between the two archetypes. And that's why I say Invoked Blueeyes wise and Spellcaster Blueeyes, if you want to call it the Spellcaster deck, Spellcaster Blueeyes deck, this is the perfect list. I'm telling you, this is my favorite list of Blueeyes of all time. And not just the fact that I made it either. I love this deck, and it's just so good. Moving on with the spells. 3 Nadir Servant. Who would have thought? 2 Invocation. And this next one, I gave him a shout out in the last video, and I'm going to give him a shout out again in this video. Shout outs to Blue in the Discord for talking about this card. This is free real estate. This is Spellbook of Pot of Greed in this deck. It is ridiculous. You do not need secrets and knowledge. The secrets to search knowledge, you don't need that. That's just too much pendulum shit. You just need these 2. There's a situation where I actually dropped this down to 1, but this is so good at 2. It's so good at 2. Yeah, it's freaking Spellbook of Pot of Greed. And then for more Pot of Greed, we got Trade In, 2 Trade In. You have 4 draw cards. That's pretty freaking solid with the rest of your entire deck that's kind of consistent. Like Spellbook of Knowledge with resolving the Alistar and linking into Magistus, and then using this to draw 2 more, and that resolving, yeah, you're probably not going to lose that game. Moving on with more spells. With this list, I dropped Melody back to 2. I still don't really know. I'm back and forth on it, but I am right now set on the 2 Melody because of the addition of Iris Sword Soul. Because the number 1 priority in this deck that a lot of people tend to not understand, and that is, you want to turbo out Virtual World Shinshin, which is what we're running in the extra deck. If you've seen my previous list, you know that. That is your number 1 concern. Unless you are playing against a deck that pluses off of Banishment, as in Thunder Dragon or piece of shit Manju. That deck is garbage. Fucking hate that deck. The deck takes no skill. But anyways, you're playing against a deck like Manju, you don't want to make Shinshin. Other than that, Shinshin is going to be your number 1 win con against other decks in the format. A lot of the decks in the format. The only time you ever want to go into Spirit Dragon is if you didn't open very optimal and you need some recovery plays and you got Vanillas in the grave and you want some protection. Outside of that, your number 1 win con, I'll say it again, is going to be Virtual World Shinshin. And its effect banishing your stuff too doesn't matter that much, because we'll get to that later when we get there. Another reason why we do not run Meltdown in this deck is because we run Mausoleum of White. Mausoleum of White is slept on in the Blueeyes community, in the Blueeyes world. Why? Definitely in this build. This is the Spellcaster Invoke build. Mausoleum is a double summon. Yeah. Imagining normal summon Alistar and then normal summoning Sage. Fucking ridiculous. That is nasty. That's really gross. And then you just go into Halki Fibrax and then just continue to frickin' plus from there. It's so gross. On top of that, drawing Mausoleum of White and your Maiden is is a freaking pretty much 2-card level 9, or I mean rank 9, a level 9 synchro. So it's this card has so much utility. I don't need terraforming because you see it when you want to see it, and you don't when you don't. I was running terraforming, but I cut it. You don't need it. So 2 Mausoleum White, you don't need 3. I thought about running 3. Right now, I'm happy with 2. By the way, guys, you're gonna crap your pants. I can't even talk. I actually got rid of my common. I told y'all in the next video I'll upgrade my common. I didn't buy this one. I actually bought it a long time ago, but I found it in my trade book, my Shatterfoil / Mosaic Rare or whatever. I was trying to get the secret rare, but no one would come off of the price a little bit, and I'm not trying to spend $10 on a secret rare. Poly, one of. I don't know. I'll probably end up getting the secret rare for the next video, but it's probably gonna be a while for the next updated video, because unless we get some kind of generic support that I like, because this is literally its final form. I've worked with this list forever, since, like, not really forever, but forever been like a month or more. But yeah, 1 poly for the combo, and then 1 god card, Dragon Revival Rhapsody. Its damage effect, or its damage claw is not that bad. It's not that hard to deal with. It's easy to play around and play through it. But this is a 1-card Synchro level 9. So it is indirectly a 1-card Virtual World Shinshin, a 1-card Spirit Dragon, 1-card Azure Eyes, whatever you see fit to go into. It's busted. I was running at 2. But I dropped it to 1. Moving on with some more cards. I am running the 1 Successor Soul, the most slept on Blueeyes card ever, then probably the best Blueeyes support in the past several years. With this card coming out in last year's Megaton, is probably the best support that they've even gotten since, like, the little tuners came out. No lie. It's better than Destined Rivals, in my opinion, in this personal build. If you're running a controlled trap version of Blueeyes, then yes, Destined Rivals will actually rival Successor Soul as a card. But the Successor Soul is so generic, it's just too good. It's a walking kaiju special summon of Blueeyes, White Dragon from deck. So, yeah. And then the 1 talents, I get a lot of questions all the time about why you only run 1 talents, or what are you gaining out of that. I'm gaining a lot out of it. This card's really disgusting. Like, if you have this in hand, plus like an Iris, and then they like effect value you can special summon Iris, and plus off of that, then you can use this to steal something, draw 2. So this is indirectly your 5th draw card. You can rip a card from their hand. It's live when it's live, and it's dead when it's dead. And when it's dead, you never have it, so it's fine. Moral of the story is, this card at 1 is better than Called by the Grave at 1, in my opinion, because this card is disgusting. It helps you win games. It helps you gain card advantage over your opponent, and helps you in overall game state. So even though I dropped it to 1, it's because I need the rest of my core to help me combo. And this is more of a defensive card. So, but it works out as at 1. But that's it for the spells. And literally, if you haven't guessed it, the last card in the entire deck is Dogmatika Punishment. It's 2 free because, unlike other decks that play it, the extra deck lock is meh. Because by the time you activate this, you already have your established board. As in, if you didn't go Shinshin, then you went Spirit Dragon, then you go into Azure Eyes, and then you're already locked out. You're already pretty much got the cards you want on board anyways. Then you just special summon Vanilla, and you give them Vanilla Beatdown. So it's perfectly fine. This card lock does not hurt nowhere near as bad as it does in Dolls. Because if you've been around on the channel, you know I'm in love with Shadalls too. So I play that deck competitively as well. So, and it hurts. It makes you think twice before activating, because you're like, man, I'm going to be locked down for a hot second if I activate this card. So I don't want to activate it unless I absolutely have to and I have no other choice. But in this deck, you're like, yeah, I don't give a shit. Extra deck lock, who cares? I don't care. I'm about to beat you next turn anyways. Even if I don't beat you with alternative ultimate white dragon, I'm going to beat you down with big old vanillas, bro. We're going to take this back to early stages of Yu-Gi-Oh! But that's it for the main deck. Clean 40, nothing I would change at all. It is, like I said, the final form, the mastered list, and I love it. Onto the extra deck, we are running 3 Link monsters. Link Kuriboh, obvious reasons. Magistus, obvious reasons. And then Halky Boy for obvious reasons. You don't need any more links in that. These are just utility links that help you out. You don't want to make you don't want to make Artemis with when you're little level 1 tuners. You want to make Link Kuriboh. The only person you're going to go into Artemis with is literally your Alistar. And then moving on to the fusions. The fusions, we have pretty much standard 2 Makaba. Makaba's Makaba. One up and coming, one of my favorites, Invoked cards is Raijin. This card puts in work. Again, I know we had this question last time when I showed my list. I run Raijin because I respect wind decks. Wind decks, Jesus Christ. Wind decks, like Windex, get it? Like Windex, I'm gonna clean something, whatever. Moving on. But I respect wind decks, and I also run Droll on the side, so it helps out in that in that regard. And then I run 1 Agades, 1 Kaliga, because who doesn't like an invoked VFD in your opponent? It's kind of fun. 1 Twin Burst. This card puts in work. Definitely against Dragoon trash. I say Dragoon trash and I run Dragoon. I know. I'm sorry. But no, this helps you out Dragoon. Once you bait all their negates, if you have a spare invocation in hand and you have 2 vanillas, you just make Twin Burst. Or you have a vanilla and another vanilla, or alternative on field, you just Contact Fuse into this. Contact Fuse is literally one of the most broken things Konami's ever made. I'm not kidding. And then alternative ultimate, our number 1 flex win con. Most of the time, whenever you summon this card, your opponent's probably going to quit anyways, because this is Dragoon but better. Because 1, it's a Blueeyes card. 2, it's bigger. And 3, it's just Blueeyes, so it's cooler. But yeah, if you summon this, you're pretty much going to win. But you can, if you go full combo, you can literally turbo this out the next turn. So even if your opponent breaks your board, if they know anything about your deck, you went full combo, they know they have to deal with your board. On top of dealing with your board, they know you're going to summon this card next turn. So they're going to burn all their resources as they can to try to break your board. Then they're going to be left with very minimal resources to deal with this guy. And even if you had full resources, this is a very difficult card to out, because it is Dragoon but bigger and it's cooler. So yeah, it's really nasty. Then we run 1 Ash Dragon. The reason why I run Titaniclad Steel is because 1, I want to turbo out my bricks out of my deck as much as possible. 2, it is a dark. I don't have very many darks, so I want to be able to make Kaliga with something outside of if my opponent doesn't have darks. And 3, it is a different attribute, and it is a dragon. So I can banish something engraved. That I can banish the spellcaster and him to resurrect my Shinshin, because Shinshin needs a monster with different attribute, different types to bring it back from the graveyard. So I can banish the spellcaster and this, like a legend. I mean, not a legend, but like a sage, and this from the grave after I got his effect and resurrect my Shinshin. On to the last fusion of the deck. Obviously, if you didn't guess, Elder Entity Intis. This card is obviously for your Nadir Servant or for your Dogmatika Punishment. It helps you break boards and just pave the way for your Blueeyes and your Invoke cards to go off. Moving on to the last part of the deck, obviously, is going to be the Synchros. The Synchro is Blueeyes Spirit Dragon, Azuraz, and Virtual World Shinshin. Your number one win con. I'll say it again. I've said it like 3 times this deck list. Number one win con. You see a level 9 Synchro you can make him before you make anything else. Because these guys will always be there. This guy, you want to get this guy floating. Fun fact, a little cheeky thing you can do. If you go full combo, normally this card will apply a stupid amount of pressure to your opponent. It'll be almost difficult to deal with. If they cannot out it and you have Dogmatika cards on field 2 and you have the Fleur-de-Lis in hand, you can use your own Fleur-de-Lis to negate your Shinshin on your own turn for that turn, so your stuff doesn't get banished, so you can combo off to break your opponent's board or finish the OTK. And if not, then when you pass turn, his effect will be live again, and then everything that leaves the field will be banished. Really cheeky, I know, it's really gross. But that's it for the main deck and extra deck. Obviously, I don't need to explain Spirit Dragon or Azuraz. Your Blueeyes players, you know what it does. You know how good it is and how good of support it was when we first got it. That's it for the deck. Again, I hope you guys love it or at least like it. Hit that like button if you want. Well, actually, no, not want. Better hit it. I'm just kidding. Hit it. But again, yeah, I really love this deck. This is the Blueeyes list I'll be playing competitively. I think it is the most competitive list out there, which everybody has their own opinions, what their opinion is the most competitive out there. The reason why I cling to this list so much, outside the fact that I worked so hard on it, I cling to it because, like I've told my Discord peeps, I feel like what Blueeyes was intended to do, and that is Synchro Summon and Fusion Summon without running a bunch of bricks that force you to turbo out like that stuff, like King of Swamps and stuff like that, and a bunch of polys and stuff, and unnecessary non-in archetype cards to search polys and stuff like that. So I feel like this does what Blueeyes was meant to do without locking you into one thing. Like if you run the fusion build, you have to run the King of Swamps and all that stuff, and you're literally doing nothing but fusing. Then if you're running the Link, you're not doing nothing but linking. If you're running the XZs, you're not doing nothing but XZing. Synchro and etc. etc. As where the toolbox is much bigger and you can do a bunch of different stuff. So with that being said, that's one of the biggest reasons why I'm in love with this deck, and I will be playing this variant competitively until we get more support, and I'll probably end up just adding to this unless I don't want to talk about it, knock on wood. The Dogmatika engine gets hit a little bit, but even then I will do whatever I can, hit the lab again to make it work. But again, I hope you guys enjoy my wonderful creation. Worked hard on it. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Please smash that subscribe button if you are new to the channel and you want to become closer to the DDD fam. PayPal and Discord in the description below. Go ahead and hop in that Discord if you want to become closer to the DD fam and want to become part of our one big family, because that's the environment I like to have. That's the environment we currently have, and I want to keep pushing towards that. We all help each other out. We all post memes. So know people, if you get offended easily, probably not the place for you. But again, we post memes, pictures of our friends, families, dogs, cats, food, whatever. We like to have fun down there. So if that's the kind of environment you like to be in, then by all means go in there, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you and saying hi. But again, be on the lookout for upcoming deck profiles. I have some deck profiles coming up. I'm wanting to show you guys some cool things I've thought about, because all it goes through my head most of the time throughout the day is bringing as good content to you guys as I can, because your opinion means a lot to me. We're almost to 500 subscribers, by the way. That's going to be a really big milestone for me, and I'm really looking forward to getting there and experiencing that, and experiencing with you guys as part of the DDD fam. So let's keep chugging along, and let's get there together as a family. But again, sorry, I know, like I said, I talk a lot. I do apologize. But again, you all have a wonderful day, night, evening, morning, whenever you're watching this video. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day and staying safe out there in the age of COVID. You all have a good one. Drip out. Peace. Good dueling, my guys.